We are continuing our winter wrap-up series with our winter sports. We are now doing women's basketball with head coach Denise Bierly, who just finished up her 24th season. Denise, 12-15 record this year under very trying and very difficult circumstances. Considering 12-15 and you won a game in the conference tournament, can you be completely unhappy with the result?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think that, like you indicated, we had a lot of trying things that went on this season. I was out 8 weeks at the beginning of the semester with some health issues, and then just having a really, really young team, and we had some key injuries at wrong times, and it just was like a perfect storm of things, and kind of led to the 12-15 record. But overall, I felt that the kids worked hard. We had numerous, I think like 8 losses in single digits. And we had a 6-game winning streak in the middle there. But we just couldn't get any traction. Every time we'd kind of get a little traction, somebody else would get injured or something else would happen. So I feel like the kids really stuck together. Coach Breza and Coach Regan did a great job while I was out. And, I think that with everything that went on, to finish 4th, host a conference tournament game, win it, go to the semifinals, I was pretty happy with the kids' effort in that regard.
I wanted to ask you about your assistant coaches, Beth Regan and Caroline Breza. Talk about stepping in and, under very difficult circumstances. Right. You had to be very satisfied with what they did.
Yeah. No, they did. They held things together, and I would say, besides even the stuff on the court, the things that people don't see that coaches do, the head coach does, and a lot of that was with the recruiting aspect. They kept that going strong. So when I got back, and so that was in good shape, and then just the kids. They all hung together. They all stayed super positive, and we played a hard schedule. The first semester, we played Amherst, who won the national championship again. We played Whitewater, who's was ranked 10th, I think, around there the whole season in the country. So, we had a really challenging schedule, and, they competed. They competed in most of the games, and even against Amherst here, it was a really good game. So I'm really happy with Coach Breza and Coach Regan, and they couldn't have done any more, and they gave it everything they had, and the kids as well. So I'm very pleased with them, and I'm very lucky to have them on our staff.
While you were out on personal leave and you were watching from afar, when you came back in early January, was there a couple of things that you said, we've got to get this straightened out right now, this is what I have to address right now?
Well, one of the things was rebounding. When I came back, I think we were getting annihilated on the boards. My 3rd game, I think, was UMass Dartmouth, and we got out-rebounded by 18 or something crazy. But
which doesn't happen with your teams normally.
That's something in the history of, being here is something we usually do rebounding drills every day, and we work on that. It doesn't matter how big, small, who we have, we always rebound. And so I felt really good about, by the end of the season, or that to me got significantly better in the weeks that I came back. We ended up being almost even stat-wise on the boards. I think it was minus or 0.6 difference, which normally we out-rebound teams in the season. But that, and the other issue was, I think, our defense. We just weren't as connected defensively. A lot of that was also us being very young. We had players stepping into roles that they didn't even play as get playing time as freshmen. And I think a lot of that being connected on defense, if it's zone or player to player, it's just experience. And so I would say our defensive effort and then the rebounding were 2 things for me that were glaring that I needed to try to address. Problem being was when I came back, then we're in the middle of the season, game. We don't have a ton of practice time.
That's true.
So we had about 7 days of solid practice, and then we resumed the season after the holidays.
Yeah.
But that's not 4 weeks of preseason. So, but it was gradual. I thought there was, one of our best defensive games, I thought, was our last regular season game against Southern Maine. Because Southern Maine had a very decent team, and I thought we did a great job of jamming up their inside kids, and just we were more connected defensively and with the game plan. So that was good to see that they did get obviously better as the season went on, and I think the rebounding and defense got better as the season went on.
And Southern Maine had beaten you by 15 the first time around.
Absolutely. And
up there.
I felt like that game here, it was senior day,
Yeah.
that they really didn't have an answer for what we were doing for them defensively. They were kind of lost with it, and we were doing some different things and doubling and that type of thing. But yeah, I thought the kids really were more connected and focused on that end of the floor.
And I don't know if you can talk about this, but I just saw when you came back, there was the team, lost a couple of games, and then they went on that winning streak. They won 6 in a row, won 9 out of their last 14. But I just thought there was a real uplift when you came back. Mm-hmm. Did you feel that? I mean, it just felt like they were more connected.
I mean, I just think it's except for maybe a couple freshmen. I mean, that's all they've ever known is me being there. So to have different voices of Coach Regan or Coach Breza, I mean, that's just going to be different. I mean, they've been there, it's not the same. And
yes.
No, I definitely think that they were motivated, they were uplifted. I was, we all were, as far as back doing what I love to do and what they love to do. And it definitely was. I mean, they definitely seemed more in tune to things. But there was just a lot of slippage and a lot of things that like I said, the defense, the rebound, I tried to address. But then there's other things that because we had so many games right in a row there. You kind of have to just, you say we were what we were. We were, at some point you have to say that, and you have to be okay with it because you can't squeeze in 5 more practices. And so, and I thought the kids, like I said, they did a good job and they regrouped but yeah, definitely played more connected, more together. I thought, after the first of the year and all that. So I think that was a really good sign for the future and for them, going into the end of the season.
You may have a different feeling on this, but probably outside of Maya Villard getting hurt, the one person you couldn't have afforded to get hurt was Lizzie Cretella,
right.
And she goes down after 9 games.
Right.
Is that accurate to say that was a devastating loss?
That is absolutely 100% accurate. I mean, I remember when her father texted me because I was home. She had hurt her knee in Florida, and initially it seemed like, it was a tweak, she's okay, and then she got her MRI and she tore ACL. So I was just like, I mean, with everything else going on, I'm like, that's like because she arguably was at least the best guard on the team.
Yeah, exactly.
If not the best player. Like at that time, Maya hadn't really kind of taken off yet. I feel like the Rick game away,
monster game.
She had a monster game, and then she started to kind of exert herself. But Lizzie was from the beginning pretty, very, very solid and really embracing her role. And so she was like, the last kid that we could have get injured and then be out the whole season. So, I'm really looking forward to coaching Lizzie next year because I didn't get to. So we didn't really connect this year, but yeah, I mean, that was really hard for us to overcome at times.
The one thing that it sort of got scary at times was the lack of depth, because you had 4 players that only played a total of 12 minutes. So you were basically going with 8 players, and it had to be difficult. Like Amaya Villard or a Kelsey Santagata, they get 2 fouls in the first quarter, and they're probably on the bench until the third, right?
And they seem to do that a lot.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
Right. But I mean, they're playing a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
I think, not to make excuses, but they're playing so many minutes game after game after game, and then I think, mentally that's when you make maybe a silly foul.
Yeah, of course.
But, I mean, in my mind, we basically, we played 7 people, but the starting 5 played 90% of the minutes, and we just didn't have any depth. I mean, that was the issue, and Lizzie went down, and then Kelsey broke her finger at the con game, so then she only missed technically 1 game, but her shooting the preceding games after wasn't ever the same.
Right.
Because it was her shooting hand. It was her little finger in her shooting hand. So, and she was just coming on shooting right before she got hurt, and we'd won those 6 in a row. And so she's the other one. I mean, like Maya stat-wise, but Kelsey, provided us with a lot of. I remember playing Western. She's a great ball handler for a forward. Yeah. So she can alleviate a lot of problems for us, even if she's not really scoring. She's very versatile, so we use her in different spots. But I mean, it was a challenge. It's not like somebody gets a couple fouls or someone's not playing well.
Exactly.
In past years, you're like, oh, well, you can come sit down and we'll put somebody else in. There wasn't really that option. So, and that's where it was a weird year for us too. We just didn't have the depth, and that hurt us a lot of games, because either with foul situations or the subs not, as I say, hold the fort down. Sometimes I watch film after games and I'd be like, well, that's when we subbed. Like when things started going south a little bit. And, that's unfortunate. Either kids aren't ready for that role or they're just not skilled enough yet or whatever it could be. But, you could kind of, it was very obvious when we had to kind of go to the bench that things, like I said, we didn't really hold the fort together very well. So
I thought, Denise, in a normal year, a player like Diana Winnock, who was a freshman, would probably be averaging 4 or 5 minutes a game. But you had to be happy with her, how she evolved over the course of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I was very happy with her. I think that she had some. She's a typical freshman, though.
Yeah.
One game she'd do some really great things for the whole time she's out there, and then the next game it could just slide back, and she'd have 5 turnovers.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's just a freshman. But you're right, like in a normal situation where she's maybe playing some games 10 or 12 minutes, and then other games maybe just 3 or 4. You can kind of live with that, but like we kind of had to weather through some of her storms because either people were in foul trouble or they needed a rest or whatever they needed. So I have very high hopes for her in the future. She's a very versatile kid. She can kind of play forward, kind of play guard, big kid, strong kid, plays hard, really hard. I mean, every day at practice. She's just got to let, like a lot of freshmen, the game slow down for her.
Yeah.
It's just going too fast. Yeah. And then she can't make good decisions sometimes. So, but I have a lot of high hopes for her moving forward in our program. But she did a good job. There were some games where she did exceptional, and then other games, it wasn't so good. So, but, kind of typical of a freshman.
The one player, in the preseason, talking to your assistant coaches, and they were running through the starting lineup and stuff, and they said Julie Jordan will be starting, and I was completely in shock.
Right.
And everyone's saying, yeah, she's really improved. Right. People probably enjoyed watching her play. Talk about her style. She just would not give an inch.
Right. Well, she's just a tough kid. The thing we want her to do more in the future is be more assertive shooting the ball. Because she can score the ball. Yeah. And I think she kind of has that, being that she basically didn't play at all her freshman year, didn't get off the bench at all. And now's going into this role where I'm asking her to be, a main cog in this machine. The scoring part will come. I just think that, just like with Maya, she really blossomed in that this year, but, as her freshman year, it was just harder to get them, because there's other people, there's seniors, there's, upperclassmen. But I think Julie she just is, to your point, I love her style. I love that kid as far as defensively, she can be put on anybody. There was several games she was guarding like a kid that was probably a foot taller than her.
Oh my God, yes.
And they tried to post her up, and we worked on her fronting, and she would just bust her tail down there. And I don't think there's a kid, except probably Lizzie, I would say, that plays harder than she does in the minute she's out there and wants to win and wants to, for the team to win. And she just, I'm with you. I enjoyed her, watching her play and watching her evolve into this, going to be a good player for us for the next 2 years. She's really, her game on the defensive end, and then the rebounding.
Oh my God.
She had some games where she's getting 10 rebounds a game. On the season, she out-rebounded Kelsey.
She did.
So only second to Maya.
Yeah.
So, she did a fantastic job of, but I think it's all, she's very, very athletic. Yeah. But she has the heart big as the world. She just wants it so bad. And those are the kids you want, and that's how, we're very optimistic to get things, turned back around with kids like her.
Well, when you coached her freshman year, did you think she might be a project and that might do something a junior or senior? Or could you see that coming?
Well, the end of her freshman year, all season, she seemed to get the task at practice of guarding Jordan Appy. So,
that makes sense.
In the beginning of the season, that went pretty much Jordan's way. By the middle of the end, Jordan would be like, I'd like someone else to guard me, because she really was coming on. And then Jordan would have to guard her. And there were some scrimmage days at practice, I would say the last half of the season, that we were like, wow, like she's really shutting Jordan down, or she's really getting under her skin, or she's, and Jordan Appy, like, cool's the other side of the pillow kind of kid. But Jay was really coming on. I mean, you could tell. And it was weird at the end of her freshman year. I kind of was like, I need to get this kid some minutes or get her, feet wet more. And it just didn't happen. Jordan and Julia being seniors and stuff. But but she, from the beginning of the season, I would have been shocked if they wouldn't have said that going into the first game. Because I just could see it coming on at the end of her freshman year.
And what a handle she had. Talk about handling the ball.
Yeah. Well, her and Kelsey, I thought, were critical in the games against Western, where they run that different style. And there's it's a crazy style, and it's pressing, and then other teams that play that style, or if we had to face a press, I thought Julie and Kelsey were very important to handle the ball and get it through there. And then they don't play sideways. Jay really plays forward. So her head's always up, she's always seeing the floor, she's probing, she's always looking forward. And so I felt like, too, her ball handling was spot on and just really got us out of a lot of messes at times. So she's really solid.
And wasn't she the primary defender on the girl from Western that led the team in three corners, or was that a group effort?
At times with them, group effort because of the way they play, but most everybody else, Keene, Southern Maine, other teams we play, she always had the top guard assignment, or UMass Boston, whoever it was, she would have that because you could really count on her she would really focus in and embrace it. And I think that too, sometimes when you're locked in on a kid, let's say the other team's best guard, sometimes I think mentally that hurts your offense. Because it's hard to be scoring 15, 20 points on the offensive end and then lock down somebody else, especially her being a sophomore.
It's true.
I think mentally you get more in tune, tougher. You can do both as you get to be a junior and senior, which I think she'll do more with next year. But she just, she had it amazing as far as helping us. I don't know what we would have done without her. And just, we kind of could see it coming on. But you never know. She's a freshman. It's at practice. But you could kind of see it coming on the end of her freshman year. And now that I think she's got her feet wet with it, I think she's going to be, she knows what she needs to do for next year and I think the coming years. So she's really, really tough kid. Really tough kid.
Last question, Denise. The few previous times you guys had sub 500 seasons, you came back very strong the next year. What are your priorities going to be going into next year? Do you see this team getting back to the 18, 19, 20 win plateau?
Well, if we don't, that's going to be a problem. No, that's the goal, and I think that, the kids that we have come returning, the nucleus of our team were sophomores.
Yeah.
And Lizzie coming back. Yeah. And, Kelsey will be a senior. I think that, we're very optimistic. So far, here's the end of March. Recruiting's went really well. Freshmen are going to have to play next year. But I feel like we've answered the question of the rotation or the having depth, which we needed to address. Depth and the quality of the depth. And I feel like we've done that in our recruiting efforts. So I feel really good. I don't know that I could be any more excited about a season coming up. I really want to coach these kids coming forward. I think, like I said, I think the sophomores learned a ton this year. And, you don't very often at the level that we play at, I feel like get to have kids in there, because hopefully we're winning 20 games. You can't really just throw kids in there to get minutes. Well, they had to get minutes this year, the sophomores. So I feel like they learned a lot, and they'll be good leaders for next year. And they don't want to be 12 and 15 again. They're very determined for that. They know the history of our program, and they know what the expectation is, and I think we're all looking forward to that and want to move forward with that. So.
Well, Denise, thanks for being with me, and good luck next year.
Thank you.